Were the Nazca Lines in Peru a way to communicate with aliens? Were they perhaps linked to satanic rituals, despite the fact that Christianity didn't even exist when they were created? Perhaps they were just an elaborate prank played by the Nazca people to fuck with their descendants. Stick around, and you might just find out answers to these questions on this episode of Unsolved Mysteries Solved! Welcome back to the podcast, Mystery Solvers. Another Saturday has come, most mysterious day of the week. That means we have a brand new mystery for you. I am your ever humble host and PhD in solving unsolved mysteries, Dr. Chad Kimmons. With me, as always, is the ever cheery co-host, fellow PhD, and outright compulsive liar, Dr. Cassandra Cherry. Cass, how are you now?
I have never told a lie in my life. How dare you?
See, guys, she can't even stop lying.
Liar. It's not like I'm a DM or anything.
She can't even stop lying for like 5 seconds to be like, yeah, I'm a compulsive liar.
No, this is slander. This is slander. Absolute. Wait, is it libel? No, it's slander because it's verbal.
No, libel is
yes.
written, yeah.
I know my laws.
By the way you were saying that sounded very like, oh my stars and garters.
Oh my stars and garters. I just can't believe that you would accuse me of such a thing.
I gotta clutch my pearls.
The audacity.
I know that you know what the Nazca Lines are.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what they are, it's those lines in the desert in Peru.
Mm-hmm. They're very pretty from space, but also they're very big.
Yeah, they're huge, which we're going to talk about because I've actually got the dimensions of them.
Sweet.
Yeah, you can drink my tea now.
Oh, what flavor tea you drinking today?
I'm just drinking bedtime.
You're drinking bedtime right before the podcast?
Yeah, because it doesn't, the last few times I've drank it to try to go to sleep, it just makes me more alert, but, it's...
That might mean you have ADHD, my friend.
Oh, I know I do.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, caffeine typically has the adverse effect on me.
Yeah.
It just makes me fucking tired.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and talk about them a little bit. A little bit. That's the entire fucking episode. Yeah, we're just gonna talk about them a little bit. All right, Nazca Lines. They were in Peru. People think the aliens may have done it. All right, show's over.
Wrap it up, everyone. Let's go home. All right.
Even if I keep everything in under 10 minutes. Yes.
Yes. It's like an old Game Grumps episode.
So the Nazca Lines, they're a group of very large geoglyphs that were made in the soil of the Nazca Desert in southern Peru. And they were created sometime between 500 BCE, which is before current era, and 500, which is current era.
Yeah.
Because that's how we measure.
That's how we measure time now. Yeah, without
Instead
Christianity being the sole focus.
Yeah, instead of BC and AD, which I can't remember what it actually stands for, but people think
before
that AD
Christ
means...
and after death.
Actually, AD does not mean after death.
What?
That's what people think it means.
Really?
I don't remember what it actually means, but that's not what it means, if I remember right. I might be wrong. Might just be talking out of my ass. I don't know.
I was always taught it was after death.
Yeah, well, you grew up in a Christian home, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Very Baptist.
Anyway, but they were created sometime between 500 BCE and 500 CE by people making depressions or shallow incisions in the desert floor and removing pebbles and leaving different colored dirt exposed. Now, most of the lines run straight across the landscape. There are also figurative designs of animals and plants, which I have pictures.
Yay! For those of you who aren't familiar with the pictures, or for who cannot see the pictures, probably the best place to actually see the pictures is either to do a Google or look up our Facebook or our Twitter or our Discord. So look those things up if you want to take a peek. Oh, there are a lot of them. Oh my. There's more than I was familiar with, because I was familiar with the eagle-looking one and a couple of the others, but the big flower, that's adorable. Yeah, and that looks like a shadow person. And then that's No Arms, Big Feet McMike.
Well, they're the names in the order of that. Hold on.
Ooh, spider. The
The
spider
names.
one's good. Or is that an ant? That's an ant. Ant one's good.
It's actually a spider.
Is it?
Well, it's named the spider. So here are the names, I believe, in the order that I uploaded them for you. Condor, dog, flower, giant, Hans, heron, hummingbird, lizard, monkey, parrot, pelican. Then there's just called phytomorphic glyphs, spider, spiral, tree, and whale.
Okay, that makes sense. They really fit. Except for the one that is spider, because I was like, oh yeah, spider, but then I looked at it and it was more like a ant body build rather than a spider body build, because you know how spiders are like, they got that thorax and that middle section and the teeth, but it's not like elongated the way that ants are. They're more bulbous.
Okay, sure.
I'm very particular about my insects. I have learned to identify ants versus spiders from a young age, because from a young age I have been extremely arachnophobic.
That's fair. Now, the individual figurative designs measure somewhere between 0.2 and 0.7 miles across. The combined length of all of them is over 800 miles.
Uh-huh.
And the group covers an area of about 19 square miles. So now the 800 miles is the length of all of the lines.
Damn.
Combined. Not the pictures themselves, but the lines.
Yeah.
Like I said, they were made by removing the top layer of iron oxide coated pebbles to reveal a yellow-gray subsoil. The width of the lines varies considerably, but over half are just over a foot wide, and in some places they may be up to 6 feet wide.
You know what amazes me about all this?
I don't. Please tell me.
Okay, so, like, natural erosion has not erased these lines hardly at all. You can, like, see them from space.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
I know. Like, how has erosion not, like, destroyed these? That's what gets
we're getting
me.
to that.
Okay.
Some of the lines form shapes that are best seen from the air. Under 500 miles, or 1,500 feet. No, that's just 500 meters, not miles. About 1,500 feet. They are also visible from the surrounding foothills and other high places.
Okay.
And the shapes are usually made from one continuous line. Like, it's not a bunch of lines together, it's one.
Yeah.
The largest ones are about 1,200 feet long.
Damn.
Now, here's the what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because of the isolation and the dry, windless, stable climate of the plateau that these are on, they have been preserved naturally for the most part.
Okay. You say for the most part, there's exceptions?
Well, there has been some, like, super rare changes in weather that have temporarily altered the general designs.
Okay.
But for the most part, they have been naturally preserved. And I believe they are, I don't know if it's a national park, but I'm pretty sure they're protected by the Peruvian government.
They should be protected, and like if a unnatural weather event alters them, put them back. This is like heritage right here.
It doesn't say, but I assume that's what they mean when it says temporarily have been altered.
Valid.
Is people, they've gone back out and fixed it.
Good.
As of 2012, the lines are said to have been deteriorating because of an influx of squatters inhabiting these lands.
Oh.
People ruin everything.
Yeah, humans do that generally.
Now, the figures vary in complexity. There are hundreds that are just simple lines and geometric shapes. More than 70 are zoomorphic designs, as we said, like hummingbird, spider, the fish, condor, blah, blah, blah. And scholars differ in interpreting the purpose of these designs, but in general, they ascribe religious significance to them.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Like, most religions, like, way back when, were very animistic. So...
Animistic?
Yeah, animistic. Animistic being, it's a spirituality of the land. Different, like, landmarks would have spirits associated with them. Animals would have spirits associated with them that were representative of, like, the species itself and had, like, particular relationships with humans.
Right.
So, like, most Native American religions would be considered animistic. Shinto is considered animistic.
So... I didn't want to cut you off. I knew what you meant. I just assumed that it would have been called animalistic.
Oh, no. Animalistic is an entirely different word. That's English for you.
That's why I said animistic ?
Yeah.
Not because I didn't know what you meant.
I understand.
But I didn't.
I understand.
I didn't want to cut you off while you were talking.
My one anthropology course was all about, like, animism, so... I was deep in the shit. I was deep in the paint for that one.
Right. Here we go. In 1994, they were designated by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site.
Oh, there you go.
The high arid plateau stretches more than 50 miles between the towns of Nazca and Palpa on the Pampas de Humana, approximately 250 miles south of Lima.
Okay.
That is not relevant. It's talking about a train that doesn't matter.
Valid?
So there's a train line that runs along the plateau.
Yeah, I think I can see it in cutting through the middle of one of the whale at the bottom there, which sucks. And they probably built that before they realized what was up.
Well, according to this, it runs alongside the plateau, not through it.
Weird. Okay, and I don't know what's going on with the whale there.
Yeah. So some of these geoglyphs resemble Paracas motifs, but scholars believe that the Nazca Lines were created by the Nazca culture.
Yeah.
Now, the first published mention of the Nazca Lines was by Pedro Cieza de Leon.
Okay.
I don't know what... Leon. Not Leon.
Leon.
Because that's French. And this is clearly Spanish.
Yeah.
In his 1553 book, where he described them as trail markers.
Okay.
And then in 1586, Luis Monzon reported having seen ancient ruins in Peru, including the remains of, quote, roads. He thought these were roads.
Yeah.
And although the lines were partially visible from nearby hills, the first to report them in the 20th century were Peruvian military and civilian pilots. In 1927, a Peruvian archaeologist, Toribio Mejia Cespe, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I don't have it in front of me, so I cannot correct you.
It might be Hespe, because it's Xesspe, and Mexico is pronounced Mexico, so it'd probably be Hespe.
That makes sense.
Anyway, he spotted them while he was hiking through the foothills, and he discussed them at a conference in Lima in 1939. There's a lot of history there. This is very dry, boring stuff right now.
Oh, no, history can be quite entertaining if you know how to read it right. Especially if you imagine them all as people and they're just beating up on each other, and it's like, oh dear, there goes America again with a big stick.
That was very Bane of you from the third Batman, Christian Bale.
Was it?
History can be very... This is the way it came across. Yes, see, I was born.
Just muffle my voice a little bit.
You inherited the Nazca Lines. I was born to them.
-2 pitch shift. Or 3.
So, Paul Kosak. Here we go, Americans. Yeah, America. Yeah. That was perfectly timed. So Paul Kosak, an American historian from Long Island University up in New York, is credited as the first scholar to study the Nazca Lines in depth. Now, notice it says credited as. Feel like he wasn't.
Yeah, he was just the first one who was given the props about it, and everyone else is like, but what about me? I didn't go to university, right. But I was here.
He was the first white guy to study them, is what basically I feel like what that means.
That makes sense.
Because whites get the credit for everything, despite the fact that, anyway.
I mean, yeah. You're not wrong.
Anyway, while he was in Peru in 1940 and 1941, studying irrigation systems, he flew over the lines and realized that one was in the shape of a bird, and on another chance observation, he kind of saw how they converged on the horizon at the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere.
Okay. And
he began to study how these lines might have been created, and he was trying to determine their purpose. He was later joined by archaeologist Richard P. Shadle, also from the United States, and Maria Reiche, a German mathematician and archaeologist from Lima.
Okay.
And they were trying to determine the purpose of the lines, and they proposed that these figures were designed as astronomical markers on the horizon to show where the sun and like other celestial bodies rose on significant dates.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, archaeologists, historians, mathematicians, your grandmother, your cat's dog, your dog's
cat,
mouse. Yeah, you didn't know your cat had a pet dog?
No, I didn't. I didn't know we had a dog.
Have you ever seen The Secret Life of Pets? Well, Kiki's living it.
Okay, I actually have not seen that movie.
It's really cute. Anyway, All these people have, throughout history, throughout the late 20th century, I guess,
Yeah.
or 19th century,
Around that
have
time.
tried to determine the purpose of the lines.
Now here's a question. Did they ever ask a Nazca person?
I don't know, honestly. Like I said, I just kind of skimmed this because I do better when I'm
Oh, valid.
not quite sure what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh,
So
good.
we're learning together.
We're learning together. But yeah, I bet they didn't ask any of the Nazca people about what the lines were about, because, you know, that sort of 19th century anthropology is just great about that.
Like, they're studying them, and one of the Nazca people, like, comes up and is like, yeah, no, these are just pictures. Like, our ancestors drew them because it was art.
And it was
Settle down.
beautiful, and
All
they
right.
wanted to, like, put it for the future generations. And
Right. And these Americans are just like, settle down. We know what we're doing. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We're gonna figure out. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. No, they're just art. They wanted to leave something behind. Hey, we got this, okay?
it was
We're
aliens.
pretty sure they're astronomical
Yeah.
in design. Like, you go back to your village. We got this. Because that's what white men do.
Yep. Pretty much every time, if you go back and look at it. Egyptians built the pyramids? No, it was aliens.
White men are just taking a pounding in this episode.
I mean,
Deservedly
isn't it deserved?
so.
Yeah.
Now, determining how they were made has been a lot easier than determining why they were made.
Yeah.
And a lot of scholars have theorized that the Nazca people could have used like simple tools and surveying equipment to construct the lines.
What?
You know what? Hold on. Okay, so apparently the Nazca culture does not exist
Oh,
anymore.
so they can't really ask a Nazca person. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking about it and I was like, maybe they're not around anymore.
Yeah, but then there's the question of what happened to them. Did they get Atlantis or what?
No, they probably just declined. Yeah, the Wikipedia has a decline and fall of the civilization thing right here.
Okay.
It says started to decline in the 500 CE, and by 750 the civilization had fallen.
Okay.
Thought to have occurred when an El Nino triggered widespread and destructive flooding.
Yeah, that can happen. I guess then they got superseded by the Inca, if it's Peru.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So sort of the way that the Olmecs and the Maya got sort of bunched up with the Aztecs after a bit there.
Yeah, probably. Even if they had been around, I'm sure that our scenario where the white people were telling them to shut the fuck up and go back to their village
I mean, yeah.
probably still would have happened.
That'd still stand.
Archaeological surveys have found that wooden stakes were in the ground at the end of some of the lines, which supports the theory that they use simple tools. And one of these stakes was carbon dated and was the basis for establishing the age of the designs.
Okay.
So, Joe Nickel, another American, who is
yeah.
an investigator of paranormal, religious artifacts,
Okay.
and folk mysteries,
Okay.
reproduced the figures in the early 21st century by using the same tools and technology that had been available to the Nazca people. And in doing so, he refuted a hypothesis from 1969 of Erich von Däniken,
Okay.
who suggested that ancient astronauts constructed these works.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you look at like those wall paintings done in or walls carvings, I guess, done in the Aztec temples, they clearly have a spaceship right there. So clearly they had spacefaring technology. Obviously.
Or, and I know this is a radical thought here, almost as radical as putting Yogi brand tea in your boring plain water. I know this is a radical thought.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just fucking shapes and people have gone like, hey, maybe that's what a spaceship looks like, and that's where we got our idea of what spaceships look like.
Maybe. You never know. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
God, I hate that debate. we're talking evolution, then clearly the chicken.
Yeah, clearly the dinosaur first.
We're talking about evolution here because it was amoeba. Amoeba came before both.
Yeah, literally.
Where was I? The Scientific American characterized Nichols' work as remarkable in its exactness when his work was compared to the existing lines. And with careful planning and simple technologies, Nichols proved that a small team of people could recreate even the largest of these within days.
Nice.
With no aerial assistance.
Hey, that's pretty good. It's like, yeah, we had a white person actually prove that people could do this by hand, so I guess that means that that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is science. Like, yes, it was a white person, but it is science. Okay, so in 2011, the discovery of 2 small figures was announced by a Japanese team from Yamagata University.
Oh.
One of them resembles a human head and is dated to the early period of Nazca culture, maybe earlier. And the other, which is undated, is an animal. And the team has been conducting field work there since 2006, and by 2012, they had found approximately 100 new geoglyphs.
Damn.
On top of what was already known from like the 1940s or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like these ones are a little bit smaller, so you had to look a little bit more closely, but they're there.
Yeah. And in March of 2012, the university announced that it would open a new research center at the site in September of that same year, and related to a long-term project to study the area for 15 years. So this is still going on.
Okay.
Because March 2012, 15 years be, 2027?
I think
so. Still be going for 6 more years?
Yeah.
And then a June 2019 article in the Smithsonian magazine described the recent works by a multidisciplinary team of Japanese researchers who identified or re-identified some of the birds that were depicted on the plain or on the plateau.
Yeah.
And they noted that the birds are the animals that are most frequently depicted by the Nazca geoglyphs.
All right, cool.
But there are more birds than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can see from the pictures, there's like a condor, an eagle, a falcon, like whatever.
So many birds. It's like, yeah, we can do feathers pretty well. We can just go and yeah, you got birds.
Hold on. Do we need a new headcanon about how to draw feathers?
You couldn't see it, but I was moving my finger as I was making the sounds to be like, that's how you draw the feathers, because it's a single line. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, side, 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 basically.
Cass,
what?
I know we've never met in real life, but I feel like I know you well enough to know that you didn't need to tell me you were doing that. I already knew you were doing that.
Yeah. That's fair.
So, and then in 2019, like later that year, 143 new geoglyphs on the Nazca Pampa were discovered.
Oh.
And in the surrounding area.
Yeah.
And this was by the Yamagata University.
Okay.
And IBM Japan, which I don't know what that means.
IBM, I think, is a technology company.
I mean, it is, but maybe it is them.
Yeah, I remember IBM Technologies.
Yeah.
And so that's just the Japan branch.
I just don't know why a technology company would be. Anyway, it doesn't matter. One of these 143 new ones, was found by using machine learning based methods.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Basically AI that is built to learn as it goes. And so you feed it information, and based off of the data set that is already been logged, it will continue to update and apply itself with new parameters.
Well, all right then.
Yeah, learning AI. It's pretty much how people expect us to die one day.
Yeah.
The Borg.
Do you want Skynet? This is how you get Skynet.
Yes. This is how we get Skynet.
Lines forming the shape of a cat were discovered on a hill in 2020.
Hey, I'm glad they appreciate the cats.
This figure, which is on a steep slope, was prone to erosion explaining why it hadn't been previously discovered until archaeologists were like carefully kind of like searching and digging and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there are currently drones that are revealing even more sites for further research. Like, this is massive.
Man, the Nazca were all over this.
Yeah. Like, and that's part of why it's such a mystery, is because we don't know what they're for, why they did it, and like it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Huh.
Now, anthropologists, ethnologists, and archaeologists have studied the ancient Nazca culture to try and determine the purpose of the lines and figures. And one hypothesis is that the Nazca people created them to be seen by deities in the sky.
Fair.
Like, they were created so that God would be pleased, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, if I was a god, I would appreciate my people making me pretty pictures.
Fair.
Especially ones of cats.
Oh, very fair.
But I can appreciate a bird-loving god as well.
So you remember Paul Kosak and Maria Reiche?
Vaguely?
That I mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. They put forth a purpose that was related to astronomy.
Astronomy.
Astronomy. It's astronomy and cosmology together.
Yep.
Astronomy and cosmology, as we said.
Yes.
The reason they put this forward is because it's very common in monuments of other cultures in South America that they were astronomical or cosmological in nature.
Yeah, they were very into the stars down there.
Gerald Hawkins and Anthony Avini, experts in archaeoastronomy, which is a word I never thought I would ever say.
Oh, what?
And it's a real thing.
That's a real thing? There's like a Wikipedia link to the word and everything?
Yeah, I believe there was.
Oh my god.
And I don't know what it is, but I'm just guessing based on the word itself and how etymology works, that it is the study of like astronomical stuff from ancient cultures.
I guess, yeah. Trying to figure out how they made their calendars and all that.
Yeah. They concluded in 1990 that there was insufficient evidence to support that these were astronomical, the lines. So
yeah, because I haven't heard like specific examples of, well, if you're paying attention, then the sun rises through the like falcon's jaws at the 10th day of March in May.
Beware the Ides of March. Why did I say that like JFK?
Is that how JFK spoke?
I would have loved, that would have been awesome. Instead of ask not what your country can do for you, he's like, beware the Ides of March.
For the March Hares will come and drag you down to the underdark.
Why? Is somebody gonna shoot you? Yes, but that's not till November.
Beware the Ides of November. What day was he shot?
It's funny because it happened on the 11th.
Oh.
I believe it was the 11th. Oh, shit, dude. And the Ides is, I believe, the 12th?
No, the Ides are the 15th.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Still, very
close.
close.
Very close. And I was just like, wait, November 9th, is that another 9/11? And I was like, no, wait, we're English speakers, and so we messed up the Latin calendar. So, because
Right.
the November is the 11th month, which is
there's
stupid.
a video.
Or is it? October, November?
It is.
Yeah, because October is 10.
It is, Cass. It's the 11th month.
No, wait. September is 7. Wait. August, September, October.
You can hear me,
Yeah,
right?
I can hear you. I'm trying to figure this out. Because it's August, September. Sept is 7.
Okay.
And then after that is October, but that's 10. November is 9. December is 12. Why did we do this? Why did we do this to ourselves?
Oh, I see what you were doing. I thought you were trying to remember if November was the 11th month in the year. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, Cass, it is. And you just kept doing it. And now I understand that you were trying to, you were etymology.
Because the numbers and the months don't match.
It's like, why are... I know.
I'm having a crisis.
I'm sitting here going, why are you not listening to me?
No,
Do you not believe that I know what
I'm
month
busy
November
having a
is?
crisis because language is just 3 gnomes and a trench coat. None of it makes any sense. All of our calendars are lies.
Why that giant?
Etymology is wrong and fake.
Why that giant is nothing more than 2 orcs in a large overcoat. So, speaking of the Ides of March, reminded me of Caesar. So there's an old video where this woman is like, you might have seen it, where she's like, what do you have? And then this kid goes, a knife!
I love that meme.
It's like
I
running
love
around.
that. I love that video so much. What do you have there? A knife! No!
Yeah. I saw a video using that sound, and it was like, Caesar, what do you have there? Brutus, a knife! Caesar, no!
That's the best use of that meme. Oh, God.
Anyway, okay. So Maria Rika asserted that some or all of the figures represented constellations.
Yeah.
And by 1998, one Phyllis B. Pitluga, a protege of Rika, and senior astronomer at the Adler Planetarium in Chicago, had concluded that the animal figures were representations of heavenly shapes.
Like constellations.
According to the New York Times, Pitluga contends these are not shapes of constellations, but what might be called counter-constellations. The irregularly shaped dark area between stars.
I guess so. That's another way to think about that, the negative space.
And Anthony Avini, criticized her work for failing to account for all of the details. I don't know what those details were. That's just what it says.
Like, the way that I would check for that would be I would have a map of all of the various Nazca Lines, and then I would go to that area and look at the night sky and see if I could match them up. But then you have to worry about, like, light pollution and, like, star migration and all that.
Right. Alberto Rosell Castro, this is in 1977, proposed that these were multifunctional. He classified them into three groups. First appeared to be tracks connected to irrigation and field division. The second group is lines that are axes connected with mounds and cairns. And the third was linked to astronomical stuff. So, in 1985, an archaeologist named Johann Reinhard published archaeological, ethnographic, and historical data demonstrating that worship of mountains and other water sources predominated in the Nazca religion and their economy all the way from ancient times to...
I mean, it makes sense. You can't live without fresh water.
And Peruvian is a very mountainous country. So, like, isn't there a mountain range all along their western coast, I think?
Yeah, I don't know what the mountain range is called specifically, but it's like all up and down that continent on that side is just like straight mountains.
But, Reinhard theorized that the lines were part of religious practices involving the worship of deities associated with the availability of water, which directly relates to the success and productivity of crops. Obviously, as you just said, water, you can't live without it.
Yeah.
And he interpreted the lines as sacred paths leading to places where the deities could be worshipped. The figures, these are just like the straight line. The figures were symbols, according to him, representing animals and objects that were meant to invoke the aid of the deities in supplying the water. And the precise meaning of any of these is unknown. Henry Stierlin, who was a Swiss art historian specializing in Egypt and the Middle East, published a book in 1983 linking the Nazca Lines to the production of ancient textiles that archaeologists have found wrapping mummies of the Paracus culture. And he said that the people may have used the lines and trapezes as giant looms to fabricate the extremely long strings and wide pieces of textiles typical to the area.
I mean, I can be down for like a gigantic loom. Gotta have 50 people to operate that loom.
But basically, according to his theory, the figurative patterns were meant only for ritualistic purposes. This is not a widely accepted theory. Although scholars have noted similarities in the patterns between the textiles and the Nazca Lines. So, they just interpret these as, like, common culture.
Yeah, this is how we draw this thing. And this is how this thing is drawn across, like, everyone understands this is the representation of the thing.
Right. Now, the first systematic field study of these geoglyphs was made by Marcus Reindl, Johnny Quadrado. Johnny Quadrado Island, or Eastland.
He's an Eastland unto himself.
Since 1996, they have documented and excavated more than 650 sites, and they compared the iconography of the lines to, like, some ceramics in the culture. Like, again, common culture, like, this shit's popping up everywhere.
It's popping up like daisies.
And they believe that the figurative motifs can be dated to having been made between 600 and 200 BCE.
Okay.
Basically, there only seems to be like 2 or 3 main theories, like astronomical, religious, or hydrogeology.
Okay.
Like, literally everything I'm reading is just like, this guy said it was water, and then this guy came along and said, no, it's religious, and then this guy came along and was like, no, it's because they were looking at the stars. And like,
But with very little proof to any of it.
Right.
Well, if they can come along and say all that, I'm sure I can come along and give in my 2 cents, and it's an equally valid theory. It'll have just as much proof as the others.
Okay, here we go. Here's something new.
Okay.
So Jim Woodman theorized that the Nazca Lines could not have been made without some sort of like aerial help to make sure that they were making them properly.
Right.
And his study of available technology at the time, he suggested a hot air balloon was the only possible means of flight at the time of construction. And to test his hypothesis...
You saying that the Nazca people had hot air balloons?
Well, to test his hypothesis, he made a hot air balloon using materials and techniques that he knew would have been available to the Nazca people. And the next sentence says, the balloon flew, after a fashion.
Oh my gosh. And like after getting up in the balloon, how would he communicate to the people down below? Okay, you need to go left about another 3 miles.
Yeah, I don't know.
And after he gets back down on the ground and he's like, okay, I've got the measurements. And he gets down to where the lines are and he's like, wait a minute. Hold on, I need to go back up. I forgot something. I forgot where we were.
Right.
Hold on. Wait, was that tree the other direction? Or I don't know. Everything looks so different down here.
No, you made a flower. I said to make a cat. We couldn't fucking hear what you were yelling at us, so we just kind of went with it. Obviously, there is no evidence of any such balloons, and so most scholars reject this theory.
Fair and valid. I'll give him props for ingenuity. I'll give him props for that.
Obviously, there are concerns about like threats of pollution and erosion.
Oh yeah.
Caused by deforestation in the region. So.
Yeah.
After flooding and mudslides in the area in mid-February of 2007, Mario Olechia Aquihe, I'm going to presume that I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You were going to guess.
Right. He was an archaeological resident from Peru's National Institute of Culture, but he and a team of specialists surveyed the area, and he said that, quote, the mudslides and heavy rains did not appear to have caused any significant damage to the Nazca Lines.
Amazingly enough.
Which just adds to their mystery, because how the fuck are these things standing up to like all of this weather?
Yeah, like literally, how the hell?
Right.
Did they like put some ancient preservative down there, like the concrete that the Romans used that we can't reproduce?
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's not a train line. Apparently, it's a highway that runs alongside.
Ah, okay.
Because he noted that the nearby Southern Pan American Highway did suffer damage, and that the damage done to the roads should serve as a reminder just how fragile the figures are.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Which is odd.
Yeah.
There's like some glitch in the matrix there.
In 2012, squatters occupied land in the area, damaging a Nazca-era cemetery and allowing their pigs to have access to some of the land. In 2013, machinery used in a limestone quarry was reported to have destroyed a small section of a line and caused damage to another.
Oh no.
Because again, humans are awful.
Yep.
In December 2014, a controversy arose involving Greenpeace activity on the site, because Greenpeace activists set up a banner within the lines of one of the geoglyphs and inadvertently damaged the site. Yeah. Greenpeace issued an apology, but one of the activists was convicted and fined for their part in causing damage.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I mean, there are some people who are activists but aren't exactly there for the right reasons, you know?
Yeah. It's weird that a group like Greenpeace would
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Even accidentally.
You would think they'd know better.
Yeah. But this incident also directed attention to other damage to geoglyphs outside of the World Heritage Site that was caused in 2012 and 2013 by off-road vehicles of the Dakar Rally. And apparently the damage that they did is visible from satellite imagery.
Shit.
So. And then finally in 2018, an errant truck driver was arrested, but later released for lack of evidence indicating any intent other than a simple error, because he had damaged 3 of the geoglyphs by leaving substantial tire marks across an area of approximately 350 feet.
But why would he be driving out there when there's a perfectly good highway?
I don't know. But apparently there was no evidence that he did it on purpose.
Why would a trucker go off-roading? That's so dangerous.
Again, I don't know.
It's just like, yeah, I've got 4 18-wheel drive. This is fine. I don't have to worry about the trailer. It's fine.
We do have to mention,
yeah,
as always, aliens.
Oh yeah, aliens are always a big part of this. I mean, there is the theory that aliens came and then made us as like a slave species, and they used us to extract gold from the planet. And so, you know, there's that. There's that.
But basically, that's all the information I've got. Like I said, there was actually a whole lot more, but it was basically just more instances of different people coming along and being like, no, it's religious. No, it's astronomical. No, it's water.
It's like, do you guys have any proof?
Like, I literally just skipped probably like 10 fucking paragraphs, like small ones, but
valid.
Because they were all just people
nattering at each
arguing, other. Pretty much. This guy published a paper saying this, and then this guy refuted it, saying, it was hydrogeology. And this guy published a paper refuting both of them, saying, no, it was fucking the swamp monster that used to live in the area, or whatever.
Well, seeing as how, like, that's all you need to do to come up with a valid, scientifically accepted theory as to how the Nazca Lines came to be, I think my theory is just as applicable as all the rest, because I'm presenting the same amount of proof. Which is none.
Well, hit me with it.
All right, so, you know, the Nazca people, you know how everyone always talks about the ancient civilizations and how they were so much more spiritual than we are today, and how they were tapped into, like, the all behind the all? Well, also, you know how all of life is a simulation, right?
I've heard that, yeah.
So they weren't exactly tapped into the all behind the all. They were tapped into the Matrix. They were aware this is a simulation. And so, you know how in Minecraft, in creative mode, you can just sort of like fly into the sky and build things just 'cause? Mm-hmm. That's what they were doing. They were tapped into the Matrix so hard, they just Minecrafted the lines into existence. They could go up and check their work anytime they wanted. They had free roaming. It was fine. They were not bound. They were not bound by any X, Y, or Z axis.
Right. Okay, so that's the how. What's the why, though?
The why is just because they were neat pictures. Why do you build things in Minecraft? You do it because you want to.
Well, I mean, I've never played Minecraft, but
I've never played Minecraft either, but I know.
I do know that sometimes you build stuff in Minecraft, like in survival mode, to survive.
Yeah,
so.
But in creative mode, it's just, do I need a reason to recreate the entirety of King's Landing at 2 scale, like from the TV series in a Minecraft server? No, I don't need a reason. I'm just gonna do it.
I remember a buddy of mine, I was watching his son play Minecraft, and like he wasn't a great artist, but he made a pretty good Charizard, Ivysaur, and Blastoise.
Nice.
Like, I mean, for being 6, it was pretty decent, better than I would have been able to do.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then his dad goes, now destroy them. And he was like, okay, and did.
Oh, that's also very 6 years old.
My theory, God, I am full of contradictions.
I mean, fair and valid.
I'm going with aliens. I think it was aliens.
Oh yeah, you think it was aliens? How did the aliens do it? Why did the aliens do it?
How a giant space laser?
Duh. Yes, giant space lasers that are gathering the energy of the sun.
The alien Jews built an alien Jewish space laser.
Not again.
No, the giant space laser is how they made them. And why? Just to fuck with humans.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're like,
Why
they'll
else do you-
eventually find this. It's fine.
Do you know how many, if I was an alien to a different world, do you know how many, like, other, like, planetary cultures I would screw with just because I fucking can?
You'd be the person, like, disobeying the first directive, just to be like, you're not gonna report this, are you? No, sir. Great. I'd have you demoted.
Like, not even, like, I wouldn't even, like, set myself up as a god or anything.
No.
Because, I mean, if they're primitive enough that they can't reach space, what are they going to offer me as their god that I don't already have?
Nothing.
So, like, I'm just fuck with them.
Yeah.
Like, steal their cattle for no reason. That's what aliens are doing.
I mean,
they're just messing with us.
Just steal cattle for no reason. Why?
Watch me boil the blood of this primitive cow on this primitive planet and watch the humans freak out about it. God, that was really dark.
Jesus, yeah. I mean, that's all the Sims are, really. If you ever play The Sims, you're like, oh yes, I'm gonna have this nice little family and they're gonna have a nice little life and I'm gonna make sure that everything goes well and that they stop making stupid decisions. And then there's the other part of Sims where it's just like, yes, I've put you all in the pool and now I've taken out the ladder.
I was about to say,
humans, drown!
See, you're going for a swim there. It's a nice ladder that you can use to get out. Be a shame if something happened to it.
Yeah, it's not like they can just get out from the sides of the pool like a normal person would. They don't have the arm strength.
Oh, you're in your house? Okay. Well, I'm taking all the doors and windows away and setting it on fire.
You see the Grim Reaper over there? Woohoo him. Woohoo the Reaper.
Don't woohoo the Reaper. Romeo and Juliet. Don't woohoo
the Reaper.
I got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell.
Needs more cowbell.
I love that SNL bit, not because it was funny, but because they're like the whole bit came to be because all through Don't Fear the Reaper, by Blue Oyster Cult, like you can hear just really loud a fucking cowbell in the background.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the writers were just like, why is that fucking cowbell in this song? I'm gonna write a skit about it.
Yeah, seriously. Like, there's a version of that song that I listen to on occasion that's, like, really epic. But I don't know who actually did the cover. But I remember the original version, and I'm just like, why? Why? Why would you need this?
But yeah, that's what I'm going with. And the reason I said I was full of contradictions is because in several episodes in the past, I'm like, aliens don't exist.
I mean, yeah, fair and valid, but today they do. This is an aliens on day.
I also, 2 episodes went with fucking mole people.
Yeah.
Still pissed off about that.
Why are you mad? That's the idea you came up with.
Because it was so dumb.
Well, I mean, it made sense. It made sense at the time.
Anyway, do you have anything else to add? Like,
no, I'm good. I'm down with my Minecraft theory.
Okay, so Cass is going with, honestly, your theory, never mind.
What?
Well, I was going to say your theory is more believable than mine, but it's not. They're both equally absurd.
That is true. We're right there together. Different flavors of bizarre.
Cass is going with Matrix-y, Minecraft-y bullshit. Mm-hmm. I'm going with alien bullshit. Regardless, one of these theories has to be true. Again, we are the PhD holders.
Yep.
You guys, the listeners, have nothing. You might have PhDs in other fields, but we don't come to your work and tell you about, I don't know, math or something.
How to fix an oil rig.
Yeah. So don't tell us that we're wrong, because we're not.
No, we're PhDs in mystery solving, clearly, from Always Right University, where you get the degree and you're always right.
Look, I mailed a check for $10,000 to some guy, and he sent me a PhD.
Yes. This is clearly how legality works.
Don't tell me it's not real. Anyway.
Yes.
We've solved another mystery for you. The Nazca Lines, heard it right here, straight from the horse's mouth that gave us a 1-star review and we had to put down.
Yep, just don't look at its teeth.
Don't look it in the mouth.
Nope.
Because it is a gift horse.
Yes, exactly. Our gift from us to you.
Our gift from us to us.
Yep. Sugar
anyway,
lives on in our hearts.
If you would like to suggest a mystery for us to solve right here on the podcast, or send us any kind of feedback or whatever, you can do that with an email to mysteriessolvedpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at UMS_podcast, on Facebook at Unsolved Mysteries Solved. Our Patreon is patreon.com/Unsolved Mysteries Solved, if you want to check that out. Also, if you've got the time and you're enjoying the show, why not head on over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and tell us what you think. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would really help us out.
We'll gift you the gift horse.
Yes, you can look that gift horse in the mouth if you give us a 5-star review.
We'll let you.
Yeah, special treat.
We named him Sugar in honor of Sugar.
He who lives on.
That's what Sugar means. It's he who lives on. What? That doesn't make any sense. That's not how etymology works.
I don't know. I don't know if sugar's even like a collection of syllables or if it means something in like Gaelic or I don't know.
All right, well then we'll catch you right back here next week for a brand new mystery. And in the meantime, between time,
yeah.
Don't question us or you will be put down. And say goodbye, Cass.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Fucking mole people.
Welcome to Pineapple Pizza Podcast,
where we serve up delicious slices of mythology,
cryptozoology,
and urban legends.
I'm Ashley.
To anyone who doesn't know me that well, the fact that I'm laughing right now probably horrifies you. And
I'm Emily. What are the chances?
I don't know.
Like bum bum bum.
50-50? Oh.
And I'm Lindsay.
I banished you to the shadow of death. I corrupt you to the netherworld from which no one has come.
Pineapple Pizza Podcast. Stop on by for a slice, a story, and a laugh. Coming January 2021.